You know, most people read horoscopes to figure out who they are. But us? Nah. We've got a better system. It's called brand loyalty, questionable decisions, and a deep-seated need to tell everyone why our gun is better than theirs. Because let's be honest, the pistol on your hip, the rifle in your truck, the safe queen you wipe down more than your phone screen, they all say something about you. Something deep, something primal, something hilarious. So whether you're Team Glock, living that polymer lifestyle, or out here carrying a high point with more pride than common sense, this one's for you. We're diving into what your favorite gun brand really says about you. Spoiler alert, it's gonna sting. So buckle up, check your mag, and maybe grab some emotional support CLP. Because this roast is locked and loaded. SCCY carriers. You carry an SCCY? Phew, bless you. You're not just armed, you're brave. This wasn't a gun purchase. This was a leap of faith. You walked into the shop, saw a pistol with more color options than a pack of Skittles, and said, "Yup, that one. The lime green one with trust issues." Look, either you're brand new to carry, or you got sweet-talked by a salesman who smelled like commission breath and regret. Or maybe, just maybe, you genuinely enjoy the thrill of wondering if today's the day your trigger reset will actually reset. The 9-pound pull? That's not a feature. That's finger CrossFit. Reliability? It's a roulette wheel. Sometimes it runs fine. Other times, it needs a full moon, a goat sacrifice, and ammo that was discontinued in 2013. And when it jams, which it will, you don't panic. You just shrug and whisper, "It was cheap," like a mantra. Because deep down, you believe. You believe in second chances, even when your extractor doesn't. SCCY folks don't just carry guns, they carry hope, and probably a backup gun, if they're smart. High Point Heroes. If you carry a High Point, you didn't just buy a gun, you bought a punchline with a trigger. And somehow, you make it work. That thing weighs more than a Thanksgiving turkey and handles about the same. It's got the aesthetics of a broken stapler and the ergonomics of a brick. Field stripping? That's not maintenance. That's minor surgery. But does it go bang? Usually. And when it does, you light up with main character energy. You dump a mag at the range, hit steel once, and say, "Told you so," while the guy next to you clears a jam on his $2,000 Gucci Glock. You're immune to clout, immune to shame, immune to good taste, and we respect the hell out of it. Because carrying a High Point isn't about performance. It's about principle. It's about telling the world, "Yeah, I carry this, and I dare you to say something." You're not just packing heat, you're packing audacity. And that, my friend, is American grit. Smith & Wesson fans. If you're carrying a Smith & Wesson, especially the M&P Shield, you are the living embodiment of "I did my research," which means you watched half a YouTube video and skimmed 3 Reddit threads before saying, "Yup, I'm basically an operator now." You bought the all-black model because it looked tactical. You say EDC like it's your zodiac sign. You've got a badge in your wallet that says Concealed Carry Permit, not for legal reasons, just in case someone questions your authority at Walmart. You walk into a gun store, nod at the Glock guys like you're equals, and give the SIG guys a side eye that screams, "Bet you paid too much." You rock the Shield Plus and whisper to yourself, "It's never let me down." And honestly, you're not wrong. But you say it with the kind of intensity usually reserved for exes who still have your Netflix login. And if you own the M&P 15 Sport 2, you've definitely gotten into a Facebook argument over 5.56 versus 2.23, and walked away feeling like you won, even though you were blocked halfway through. Smith & Wesson didn't just sell you a gun, they sold you an identity. You're not flashy, you're functionally elegant. You believe in American steel and emotional stability, or at least one of those. Taurus carriers. If you carry a Taurus, you're not just a gun owner, you're a warranty warrior. You bought that G2C because it was on sale, had a rebate, came with a range bag, and your buddy said, "Hey man, it's not that bad." Spoiler alert, it was. You've been through more returns than Amazon customer support. You know the RMA process better than some of their own reps. You've sent your pistol back twice, and now you say it runs great, like a proud parent showing off a report card with 1 B+ and a bunch of asterisks. Every malfunction is met with a calm, "It's just breaking in." Every stovepipe is probably the ammo. Every conversation about Glock ends with, Yeah, but I only paid $279 and it came with 2 mags. You don't shoot Taurus because it's perfect. You shoot it because it's yours. You've bonded, you've struggled, you've grown. You're not just a shooter, you're a survivalist with emotional attachments, and possibly a few spare parts you didn't ask for. Palmetto State Armory builders. Now PSA people, you're not just gun owners. You're homegrown armory wizards with a caffeine addiction and zero chill. You went to the PSA site for one lower and blacked out. You woke up with 4 uppers, 3 stripped receivers, and a buffer spring in your sock drawer. Your idea of home defense? A mismatched AR build with a no-name red dot, a side-charging bolt, and a flashlight you ripped off a camping lantern. You believe in mil-spec the way others believe in karma. It's not perfect, but it gives you something to yell about on forums. You shoot once a month, maybe, but you build every weekend. You don't need a range. You need a workbench, a torque wrench, and a YouTube playlist called AR-15 Upgrades that'll never end. Your rifles have names, backstories, possibly a better plot arc than most Netflix originals. PSA didn't just sell you guns, they sold you purpose. You're in too deep to stop now. You've got spreadsheets, Cerakote colors, and maybe some light insomnia. And that, my friend, is the American DIY spirit, with a side of gunpowder and budget optics. Glock owners. If you carry a Glock, you've said Glock perfection more times than you've actually cleaned your barrel. To you, Glock isn't just a firearm, it's a holy relic of reliability. But let's be honest, your Glock doesn't even look like a Glock anymore. It started as a Gen 3 or maybe a 19X. Now it's some unholy mix of aftermarket regret and polymer surgery. You swapped the trigger because it felt mushy. Then the slide because optics ready is a must. Then the frame because your new stippling fetish doesn't play well with OEM. At this point, the only thing Glock about your Glock is the vague outline and the lingering regret on your credit card bill. The magwell cost more than your first gun. The slide release is extended, the guide rod is titanium, and your custom Kydex holster was molded specifically for your self-esteem issues. Let's be real, you haven't field stripped it out of necessity in years. CLP? You treat it like a seasoning, not a solvent. Glock guys treat stock parts like they're contaminated. If it's OEM, it's gotta go. You don't just own a Glock, you curate one. Your pistol is less tool for defense and more ongoing project with no end in sight. But hey, it still runs. Mostly, probably. After that last upgrade from the guy named Kyle on Instagram. Sig Sauer fans. If you're carrying a Sig, especially a P365, congratulations. You like elegance, refinement, and living on the edge of a recall. You didn't buy a gun? You bought modularity. Your daily carry is the P365XL. Your nightstand gun is the Macro. And your glove box? That's rocking the OG P365 with a flat trigger and enough accessories to qualify as a tactical transformer. You have opinions about FCUs, strong feelings about striker safety, and you've debated curved versus flat triggers like it's a moral crisis. And holsters? You've got 5 for the same gun. Each one solves a problem you invented after reading a post with 12 upvotes on SCCY. But you're haunted. Every time SIG trends on Twitter, you get a little twitchy. You know that sound, the faint clunk in the holster, and suddenly you're deep in a serial number check, wondering if yours is the fixed version or the reason you sleep on your left side. Still, you carry it, because it's accurate, it's sleek, it's sexy, and you've already spent too much to turn back now. Springfield Armory carriers. Ah, Springfield fans. You patriotic, possibly betrayed little creatures. You bought the Hellcat because the ad said, "We the people," and you were feeling something. Then you flipped the box over and saw "Made in Croatia" and felt conflicted. But you committed. You like the capacity. You like the slim profile. But that trigger? It feels like a wet spaghetti noodle under tension. And the grip texture? Like sandpaper designed by someone who's never touched skin, just described it to a sketch artist. Still, you show up to the range with confidence. You lay that Hellcat Pro across a copy of the Constitution, snap a photo, and tell your group chat, it shoots great, once you break it in. You swear the grip safety on your XD is underrated, even though it's betrayed you 3 times this month alone. But hey, the warranty is solid, the performance is fine, and the price? Yeah, that felt right. You're not here for perfection. You're here for practicality, with a hint of red, white, and maybe a little blue pill every time SIG drops another model. You carry Springfield because you still believe in American branding, even if it comes with imported feelings. Ruger carriers. If you carry a Ruger, you're not here for flash. You're here for forever. Ruger folks don't care about Gucci slides or tactical buzzwords. You think red dots are witchcraft. Lasers? For cats. You chose Ruger because it's built like a brick, runs like a tractor, and will probably outlive your entire bloodline. You've got a GP 100 that weighs as much as a car battery and hits like one too. Your EDC might be an LCR or an LCP, tiny, simple, and practically invisible. You don't carry for show, you carry for go. And let's not forget the 1022. Everyone knows a Ruger guy has at least one, even if they don't admit it. It was either handed down from an uncle or just materialized in your safe one day like an ancient artifact. You don't talk much online, you don't argue, you perform. You say things like, "I don't need all that tactical nonsense," while drilling groups with iron sights at distances other guys Photoshop on Instagram. Every Ruger you own looks like it's seen combat, whether or not it has. Your cleaning kit is older than your dog. Your range bag smells like hops number 9 and bad intentions. You're not chasing the next big thing. You're betting on the last thing that actually worked. Ugly? Maybe? Heavy? Sure. But you know what? Ugly doesn't jam. Colt enthusiasts. If your carry gun is a Colt 1911, you're not here to debate. You're here to preach. You call it God's caliber at least once a week, and you don't even smile when you say it. You oil your pistol with reverence. You don't clean it, you anoint it. Your 1911 isn't just a tool, it's a testament, a lifestyle made of steel, soul, and a healthy dose of John Browning fanboyism. You refuse to touch polymer. You say things like plastic is for toys, and side-eye Glock owners like they showed up to a funeral in Crocs. You wear flannel shirts with the sleeves rolled just enough to show your leather holster. Your YouTube history is all World War II documentaries, slow-mo slide cycling, and videos titled, "Why the 1911 is Still King." Yeah, it's heavy. Yeah, it hiccups sometimes. But to you, that's character. Malfunctions aren't flaws. They're spiritual growth. When someone asks, "Isn't that outdated?" you just smile, rack the slide, and say, "So is the Constitution." Remington holdouts. And if you still own a Remington, specifically old Remington, you're either nostalgic, delusional, or both. You remember the glory days. The 870 was gospel. The Model 700 was America's sweetheart. Remington used to mean excellence. Then came the corporate clown show and a quality control nosedive that hit harder than a plus P round in a snub nose. But you held on. You've got that 1.870 with the smoothest pump known to man. Or a Model 700 that's still your go-to for deer season and unsolicited flexing. You clean it like a relic. You speak to it like a fallen war hero. When someone says, "Didn't Remington go downhill?" you whisper, "Not this one," like it's a cursed object you're protecting from the world. You want the comeback. You need the comeback. But you're also watching the brand like a recovering ex, full of hope, but ready to ghost at the first red flag. You're not over it. But you're not letting go either, because deep down, you still believe. And belief? That's a powerful thing. Beretta fans. If you carry a Beretta, especially a 92 FS, you're not just surviving the gun world, you're trying to flourish in it. To you, shooting is performance art. Every time that slide glides back, angels weep. And somewhere in Italy, a gunsmith in a leather apron nods in approval while sipping espresso. Your gun doesn't fire, it sings. It's got curves, it's got soul, and you will fight anyone who dares question that open-top slide. Yeah, it lets in dust. And yeah, the thing's about as slim as a brick. But form before function, baby. When you go to the range, you don't just shoot. You pose. Your stance looks like you're reenacting a lost scene from a spaghetti western. Cleaning it? You don't use solvent. You use a silk cloth and emotional closure. You've got opinions about Italian steel, double-action triggers, and the superiority of walnut grips, even though yours are polymer because, well, times are tough. And every time someone says, "Why not just get a Glock?" you smile, cock the hammer, and whisper, "Because I have taste." CZ owners. Oh, you're a CZ person? Congratulations, you have officially entered the gun hipster matrix. You didn't want something mainstream, so you went CZ'd. Then you spent the next year upgrading it until you accidentally built the exact thing you were trying to avoid. You own a Shadow 2 that cost you $900 and another $600 in essential mods. And you have no regrets. Except maybe those $80 grips that don't quite fit right, but hey, they look incredible in your macro photos. You have a slide-in-frame tattoo on your heart. You've got a PO one you call Ol Reliable, even though you've had to repin it twice. You probably own some obscure CZ clone you found on Gunbroker with Cyrillic letters and a mysterious clunk in the slide. You just say, that's the charm. You post pictures of your stippling work, fiber optics, and trigger upgrades like it's fine art. You dry fire more than you shoot. You've posted your build to r/CZ firearms and were once roasted for using the wrong hex screws. But you took it like a man, learned from it, and reposted with pride. You don't just like double action/single action, you worship it. And pronunciation? You still butcher Cheska Zbrojovka like you're trying to cast a spell. But that doesn't matter, because CZ chose you, HK Carriers. Ah yes, Heckler and Koch. You paid over $1,000 for a gun that runs like a dream, and emotionally treats you like an ex who's just not ready to talk. Carrying an HK is a choice, a toxic relationship you're proud of. The VP9? Perfection. The P30? Smooth like buttered precision. But when you need customer service, you'd have better luck getting a hold of your high school gym teacher on Facebook. HK doesn't love you, HK tolerates you, and somehow that makes you love them more. You tell your Glock buddies, it's German engineering, while they look at your $70 spare mag and your $150 proprietary light rail and think, this man is emotionally unwell. You wear Oakleys indoors. You talk about slide tolerances at barbecues. You unironically bring up polygonal rifling in casual conversation. And yes, you've said you suck and we hate you with a grin because you know the joke, and you lean into it. You didn't just buy a gun, you bought a challenge, and a lesson in humility, precision, and wallet management. HK didn't sell you a pistol. They sold you the experience of being emotionally humbled by machinery, and you're weirdly proud of that. Keltech Carriers. If you carry a Keltech, you are not afraid of anything. Not public perception, not mechanical failure, not even God himself. You didn't buy a gun, you bought a question with a trigger. Your sub 2000 folds in half like a lawn chair and fits neatly between your lunchbox and your anxiety. Your P3AT looks like it was 3D printed in a garage by someone who failed their engineering midterms. And your KSG? That's not a shotgun, that's a challenge to the laws of physics. Keltech doesn't make guns. Keltech makes experiments. You pull that trigger and you're 90% sure it'll fire, and 10% sure you just activated a backup system in a Soviet satellite. You call it innovative. You say, nobody else is doing this. And that's true, because nobody else should. Your manual is more of a suggestion. You read it once, ignored half of it, and now treat every range trip like a high-stakes test of courage and duct tape. But you love it. You live for it. You bring homemade hot sauce to the range, reload out of a fanny pack, and you're the first one to say, here, shoot this. It's weird. And that's beautiful. That's chaos. That's Keltech. Well, there it is. Your gun brand isn't just a choice. It's a full-blown personality profile disguised as a piece of steel and polymer. Whether you carry Austrian plastic, American steel, Croatian confusion, or Turkish treasure, just know this. We're judging you. Gently, mostly. Some of y'all are built for legacy. Some of y'all are built for warranty claims. And some of y'all just like guns that fold in half for fun. So, hit that like button like a Colt 1911 hammer drop. Slap subscribe like you're clearing a stovepipe in your SCCY. And drop your brand in the comments. So, we can roast you personally next time. Stay strapped, stay sassy. And remember, no matter what's on your hip, there's someone on the internet who thinks it's garbage. Welcome to the gun world.